Hi everyone, Gareth here. You probably have noticed, I hope, in the past few episodes, I've been talking about the Classic FM Hall of Fame, where we're trying to get video game soundtracks into the Classic FM top 300 classic tracks of all time. The last day of voting is actually the 28th, which is Friday. Obviously this goes up on a Thursday, so you'll only have 2 days left to vote. So if you haven't done it already, just go to classicfm.com and there'll be a link right on the front of the site. Just follow the link, cast your vote, and put your favourite soundtracks into hopefully the best 300 classic soundtracks of all time, up there with the greats. Now what I'm going to do for this week's episode, seeing as it's the final push, the last chance to get people excited and voting for their soundtracks, instead of the typical music I use in between sections this week, I'm going to instead use pieces of music that you can vote for, that are eligible to be voted for, and that you probably should vote for if you haven't already. So just to sort of give everybody that last little incentive to go and vote. Just go and vote. It takes literally about 2 minutes of your time. And over the Easter weekend, Classic FM are going to play all the tracks that came in the top 300. Last year we got 2 tracks into the top 5. It was pretty exciting listening to it live, seeing how high up we got, and something cool just about hearing video game music be not only talked about on a radio but played on a mainstream radio station, the mainstream respected radio station. It's shaking up the system a little bit, which is cool, but it's more just about getting the recognition that these songs deserve.
The Gamecentral podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Gamecentral podcast. Number 7, guys. Can you believe that we're on number 7? It seems like only a few weeks ago, the idea of this podcast was just a twinkle in guys' eyes. Say something like, yeah, that's really good, Rob, I understand.
That's profound. That's amazing.
Yeah. That is a podcast number 7. We've made it through illness, rudeness, and hatred. I love the film 7. Gareth, have you ever been presented with a loved one's head in a box?
Not recently.
Not recently. Guy, what's your favourite deadly sin?
A sloth.
Sloth. I love sloths.
It's a good one.
They're really nice, but they don't really do much, do they? So anyway, on with gaming. And as usual, I've got to introduce my 2 guys that are here with me today. But let me go first, because I'm always last. Having an Xbox One, there is a sad realisation that there are just not that many games out there at the moment to play. But I have been finding myself spending more and more time on the games that I do have. In particular, Dead Rising 3. So involved am I in the game, I volunteered to give up my free time to work in a home for the elderly. I only lasted a few hours though, because as soon as the fellow carers witnessed my sweet moves such as throw, disembowel and head rip, as I tried to level up, I was asked to leave by the police. You may have seen me on the news. My name is Rob Walker. Hello. Hello guys.
Alright.
Hello.
Hi. My next regular podcaster ringer has Microsoft luscious hair, would withstand any blizzard, and would stay in place even on a bungee jump. It's Gareth Williams.
Alright.
There are 2 types of people in this world, those that Nintendo and those who Nintendo don't. And Guy is very much a Nintendo school of thought. Unless it's Nindoing women needlessly writing up interviews with rock bands that no one will ever read, or offering his thoughts on a podcast that no one will ever listen to. Basically, he lives his entire life being ignored and with friends who would rather go swimming than spend the evening with him. He exists purely in some kind of vortex. And sometimes I wonder to myself if he is just a figment of my imagination that only I can hear. It's my imaginary friend, Guy Whitlock.
Good evening.
Very much, Guy. And so, on to the news. And for those of you out there who do not know what news is, let me explain. News is something that lets you know what it is going on in the world. There are different types of news, such as fluoride that is included in water may lower your intellect level, but this is a podcast for a particular kind of news, and that is gaming news. So if you stumble across Gamecentral Lives hoping to hear the latest goings on in the Ukraine, or how the banks are possessed of our hard-earned cash, then I'm afraid you have come to the wrong place. News jingle!
The first track I'm going to play for you this week is from Diablo 3, and it's And the Heavens Shall Tremble.
So yes, sad news today, guys. In the news, it's the realisation that games that we have been looking forward to just are not as good as we'd hoped. Some blame the developers, some blame the publishers for putting pressure on the studios, but I personally blame Guy Whitlock. Guy, I thought you've some explaining to do, my friend.
Why is it my fault?
Well, Castlevania 2 has been getting rather average reviews, and so has Thief.
Is that my... Why am I to
I
blame?
would say it was your fault.
Why?
I don't know, Guy. I was just trying to build up some sort of conspiracy.
Well, you've come to the wrong guy. The only conspiracies I specialise in are fluoride conspiracies.
Excellent. So, have you guys had a look at the Thief and Lord of Shadows 2 reviews?
Seen a few.
Yeah, it's not looking too good, is it?
Well, I don't get who thought those games were going to be anything but average.
Well, can I just ask Guy to stop breathing so heavily?
That is weird.
Sorry, that might have just been where my mic was.
And having a pervert breathing into my ear?
I think that was just where my mic was positioned. Sorry.
What, up your nostril? You do know it needs to be just underneath your mouth.
I do, yeah.
Excellent. Right, so I was planning on actually getting both of those games because I'm a big fan of the original Lord of Shadows, and I've never played a Thief game before, but I've heard they're brilliant. I don't know if either of you have played the before the Thief games that came out.
They're around the same time as like Deus Ex, aren't they? So they're a bit rough by today's standards.
Yeah.
And I don't like stealth games, so...
Just all that waiting around, Guy, you don't like it?
No, I don't know.
You breathe so heavily, you would probably be detected anyway, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
He breathes heavily because he's just jogging on the spot whilst we record the podcast.
I'm actually at the gym.
They hired a
We're
gym.
doing this.
It's good, but I've been reading the reviews for Lord of Shadow 2 and listening to the reviews, and it seems that the general consensus is the first half of the game's utter crap, and the second half of the game's pretty good. I'm sorry, but I don't buy the whole, play this for 10 hours just to get past the terrible bits, because after that, the next 10 hours are fun. Wow. When did we get to this point? Like, you physically have to force yourself to play something to get to the next part? Wouldn't it be great if restaurants did the same thing? Oh, hello, sir. Please sit down. Tonight will be the chef's special with his amazing grilled chicken and a cream sauce mixed with brown rice and a wonderful rich flavour. But first, you must eat a plate of this shit. But it's okay because the main course is amazing. And you look around the other tables to see shit dripping from their chins. And you walk over to one of the customers and you're like, yeah, mate, is it true that the chef makes you eat a plate of shit before he allows you to eat the main course? Yes, it is, but the main course is great. Yeah, but why can't we just have the main course? And that's true, because why can't we just cut the game in half? Because by the sounds of it, it's just as long as the previous one. Cut the game in half and give us that good piece of gaming. Because I'm fed up. I haven't got the time. If someone tells me to play a game through the shit parts to get through the gold that's underneath, I can't be bothered, really, to be honest. You know, we're not going to do it. And obviously, with FIFA, I was looking forward to that to be another one of the games that I'll be playing. Again, I've been turned right off of that one.
Well, you can still play it. There's nothing stopping you.
Gareth, it's like 50 quid. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
And at the end of the day, if I'm going to play a 5, 6 out of 10 game, I'm going to want to spend around £20. And that's the way it is, really. I'm not going to want to pay £50 on a game that, I'll probably enjoy it, but it's going to be average at best.
So if these be getting this reviews and all the reviews said the game is like 30 hours long, would that be better for you?
If the game was what? Sorry,
like
better.
30 hours long.
If it was 30 hours long and brilliant, then that's it. But I don't think you can make like a linear game that lasts 30 hours that holds your attention. It has to be something like Skyrim if it's going to do that, where you can just go your own thing.
Well, it's like a game I was looking forward to this week came out, Earth Defense Force 2025.
Yeah. And
that got very average reviews as well, but I knew that was going to happen going in. It doesn't make me any less excited.
But then, the thing is, Gareth, when you go in to download it from the Xbox Live Marketplace and you see that it's £40, you know you're going to enjoy it, but you're not going to enjoy it £40 worth. It's a budget title at most.
Well, yeah, but that game will be cheap as fuck in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it will, but at the same time, I'd like it to be... It could even be an arcade game, let's be fair. It's got the production values of it.
Well,
I wouldn't mind $14.99 for it.
Well, the point I'm trying to make is like measure your expectations. Like, was anybody really expecting Lords of Shadow 2 to be like a Game of the Year contender? Like, no.
But did you play the original Castlevania?
No, I saw enough of it that I didn't want to play it.
That's the thing. Like, a lot of people didn't jump on it, but I reckon it was a really good game. It was quite long, but you never felt that it overstayed its welcome. And like some of the landscapes and the level design was absolutely brilliant. And the platforming and all the different kind of combos you could do.
Yeah, I saw...
It really, really was a good game.
I saw a video of somebody completing it, and the ending to that game is kind of amazing.
Yeah. Obviously, you haven't played it, Guy.
No. Well, I've heard it was meant to be good.
Yeah, it's really good. But let's look at some of these...
I think people were expecting this one to build on it, but from the sounds of it...
Hideo Kojima.
From the sounds of it, it's steps back.
The original wasn't supposed to be a Castlevania game. It was only because Mercury Steam, Hideo Kojima saw the game and he said he would help on it as well. And obviously when Kojima says something's good, then people jump on it and take his word, and they trusted him to put the Castlevania name to it. It was originally unveiled at an E3. I forget what one it was, maybe 2009, just as Lords of Shadow. And it was originally going to be nothing to do with Castlevania. But we look at some of the reviews for Castlevania 2. Edge gave it a 4. Eurogamer gave it 50. GameSpot gave it 70, which roughly equates to like a 7. Yeah. And IGN gave it 65. And then we look at Thief. I mean, the official Xbox magazine, I think this tells its own story, only gave it a 7. And I mean, they chuck 8 and 9s around like it's going out of business. So... you look at that and it's kind of, it makes you feel a bit sad for gaming, really, because they were the two games I was looking forward to.
Well, those aren't bad review scores, like 65 and a 7. Like, those are alright. That's like...
They're above average.
Yeah.
Well, they're not when you consider what most reviewers are like now. We're sort of in a situation where anything below like 7.5 is considered not very good. When really, technically, as far as I see it, anything above 5 is still above average.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you look at Edge's 4 out of 10.
Yeah, well,
I trust Edge's.
edges are pretty.
Because they use big words like Nostradamus. So, that's why I trust them. But yeah, I wasn't too happy when I found out about it. It kind of you get that little bit of a you look forward to it, and then suddenly people get hold of it, and it's like it's just like flattening, and you feel it in the pit of your stomach, that disappointment of it's like you're not getting what you wanted for Christmas.
Well, I've just got my hopes pinned on South Park next week being not terrible.
Yeah, that's looking pretty positive actually.
Well, there was bad news about that today as well for Europe, because they're censoring it in Europe. They're censoring about 2 minutes of footage, which I was a bit when I first saw the headline, I was like, oh, what? No, they've censored it. And I mean, to be fair, they've censored an abortion scene on the main character.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty bad.
An abortion scene on Stan's dad, and then 5 anal probing scenes. So I mean, I
love anal.
I can live without that, to be honest.
I'd love it if there were like 50 anal probing scenes where they were like, these 5 are the 5 that we really can't show.
Yeah, and then you get... it's probably going to be released as downloadable content, isn't it? Like the anal pack. And then you get all the anal scenes that were removed one after the other, after the other, after the other.
The backpack.
Which I, for one, would love... That's good, backpack. Go on, guy, see if you can make a pun. Go, quick.
Sorry?
Guy, quick,
I
make
can't
a
think
pun.
on the spot, no.
About anal, go.
Anal?
Yeah.
Well, this is a banal conversation.
There you go. Thank you very much. Right, so anyway, the next news item, Xbox One with Titanfall, I've heard that it's gone down to $379 from $399, which makes it maybe an even more attractive proposition for someone that, owns a Wii U and has started to think, what have I done with myself? Just go out there and buy one. But it's still a lot of money, isn't it, guys, at the end of the day, to just shell out. It's like, oh, brilliant, it's only £379 now. Now I'm sitting on all this cash, I've got something to do with it.
Well, I'm holding out for a PS4 myself, so nothing's gonna... If Forza 5 had have been better than Forza 4, that would have been a system seller for me. But Gran Turismo 6 came out at the same time, and they cut back content and then put in those horrific microtransactions.
Well, it's that whole launch game thing, isn't it? Project Gotham 3 was the same. And then you had to wait till Project Gotham 4, which I still love. I think that's... I don't know if you like that guy, Project Gotham Race 4.
I've only played 1 and 2, but they were brilliant.
Yeah, 4 for me still remains one of my favourite racing games on the 360.
Yeah.
Gareth, do you like racing games, or...?
We're not talking about Titanfall?
Well, I know race is something that we don't really like to discuss.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hot button issue.
Yeah, it is. But Titanfall, does that wet your gland, Gareth?
Well, it doesn't quite moisten my gash like last week.
Mate, it was soaking last week. I had to watch out about it.
But
it's dried up, was it?
I guess you could say that. No, with Titanfall, like the beta, I thought looked awesome. I didn't get to play it myself, but I thought it looked awesome. But there's still too many questions for me with Titanfall. Like, what's the single player like? Is the multiplayer going to stay fun long enough?
There isn't a single player, is there?
There's a campaign.
Still bot matches, I think.
There's a campaign, but it's still a multiplayer.
Yeah, like Unreal Tournament was on the PlayStation 2.
Similar to that.
Yeah.
And also, can't you just get Titanfall on PC, Gareth?
Yes.
That's what if it's really good, I might actually finally get off my arse and get another graphics card and then get it on PC.
Interesting.
Not worth an Xbox One.
But would you know how to fit the graphics card?
I would. I've changed my graphics card a couple of times in the past.
That's really good.
But,
Gareth,
it's fine, because if I can't, we can. I can just call on our resident PC building expert over here.
Yeah,
True.
exactly. I was going to ask the PC question.
I built one at PC.
That's one more than Rob has.
So, Gareth,
Yes.
I had I'm moving, and I had 2 old PCs in my loft. I took out the hard drive and threw the PCs out in the front garden. Can any information still be retrieved, or is that just dominantly stored on the hard drive?
I don't know if actual like personal information can be stored on the RAM.
Yeah, I mean, like just sites I may have looked at. That sort of thing.
Well, you don't really hide that from anyone. You sort of...
No, I don't. But hopefully they just took them for scrap, not to kind of try and criminalise me.
What, some people took them?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
No, you can't say that. Then that would give me anxiety. I'm just saying that I think they took them for the metal scrap in there. I took out the graphics cards, and I took out, not that I would know what to do with them, and I took out the hard drive, and like the motherboard was left in there, but I spat on it a few times to try and make it wet, and then just threw it out the front. I think that's the PC technology term you guys use. When you spit on the motherboards, you know what it's like.
Yeah, we have to normally dumb it down for people, but I see you've got all the terminology just to...
I have.
No, that'll be fine.
Xbox One, is that the price point, or is it $299.99 that Gareth wants?
To be honest, my problem isn't with the price. It's just with the games. And I can get Titanfall on PC, so... Unfortunately for Microsoft, no money from me.
Cheaper as well, probably. You guys get your games a bit cheaper, don't you? Normally about £10.
Yep.
That's if you're not illegally downloading them, Gareth.
I'm not, don't worry.
Really?
Right, yeah, 100%, promise.
Thank you. The money needs to go back into the developers, because you get a lot of people like Guy that say, you know, where's the money? Where are these games coming out? When are they going to do this? When are they going to do that? The state of the game industry, but then they'll happily just go and, you know, back in the PlayStation days, it was rife, and Dreamcast days, where it was so easy. I've still got my Dreamcast here. All you have to do is literally just put a CD in there. You don't even have to touch the console. You know, and I downloaded all my favourite games legally from Dreamcast.com, where you have the legal ROMs, and basically I just play all those. So Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer, great game.
Oh, that was brilliant.
You didn't play it, Guy.
No, I did play it.
Did you?
I did. Maybe it's the sequel I played. It might be the sequel. I think one I played might have been
Super Bombad Racing.
No, that wasn't in the series. The second one I think was on PS2, and it was called Star Wars Racer Revenge or something like that. And it was just awesome.
It could have been awful.
It was brilliant.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Okay, well, we might revisit that one day. So basically, $379.99 still isn't really an attractive price for you guys, and you know, I've already bought one, but you know, it doesn't make me think, oh shit, I'm an early adopter. That was ridiculous. I should have waited for that price drop. No. You know, it's not too much of a big deal. But if you want Titanfall, you want an Xbox One, there probably isn't going to be much of a better offer this side of Christmas, to be honest.
Yeah, and I do generally prefer gaming on consoles. Like, for example, I've been playing Fallout 3 some more this week, and like that game came out like 7 years ago, and like for really high-end PCs back then, like my PC is better than the best PC was back then, and it's like it's got better graphics card than the game even needs. It's got more RAM than the game even needs. It's got a better motherboard than the game needs, but that game still crashes like once an hour, pretty much.
Yeah,
if not more than that.
With PC gaming, it would frustrate the shit out of me.
Yeah, it's really annoying. I mean, Fallout 3 is an older game, so it doesn't happen that much with newer games, but it's still just like, you know, when I had Fallout 3 for my Xbox, pop it in, play it for like 13 hours at a time without a crash, just because consoles just handle that a lot better. That would always be my preferred way of playing, but not for close to 400 quid. Fuck that.
Well, talking of giant mechs, there's been a new Tony Hawk's game announced. Seamless transactions, seamless link there, guys. That's why I'm good at what I do. A lot of people, you know, I've been absolutely salivating at the gash for a new Tony Hawk's game. I'm a big fan of Tony Hawk skateboarding, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4,
That was amazing.
Tony Hawk's American Wasteland, Tony Hawk's Underground, Tony Hawk's Underground 2, Tony Hawk's Proving Ground. But not surprisingly enough, Tony Hawk's Ride with a stupid bit of plastic coming with it that made you look like a bit of a dick on a surfboard rather than a skateboard.
Did you have one?
I'm a big fan. No, I didn't, because I did. It was like 80 quid or something stupid when it came out, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I literally read the reviews because I'm not going to drop £80 on something that I don't know. And basically, it didn't even work. And then I saw Skate come out, and I played Skate and I enjoyed it. But I believe that there are two games that could easily coexist.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk's is so arcadey and crazy, and I used to love it. And I used to love all the tricks that I could pull off, like a nose grind or a fakie or a kickflip. I really enjoyed those, and building up some combos. And me and my friend had absolutely great rivalries on there, playing that horse game and things like that, and graffiti. And it would be good for it. If I see some crap thing come along with it, some chunky bit of plastic, I'm going to get angry, because they need to make another Tony Hawk's game in the vein of what it was before. I know skateboarding isn't as popular as it was back then, but I never really loved skateboarding. I don't like shooting people in the face. Well, I don't know. I've not tried it, but I still play Call of Duty. So you don't know if the market's there. Release it, see how it goes. But it's this problem. It's Activision, isn't it? Yeah. And it's not like Activision are screaming for some sort of game to make at the moment to make the money. They could pretty much sit there and wait until the fancy arises, and then they'll make it.
So what have they announced for this new Tony Hawk's?
It was just Tony Hawk can't keep his mouth shut.
Oh.
He was on a radio show, and he said that they were actually making a new Tony Hawk's game because they were talking about it. Yeah, so you know what Tony's like.
Yeah, but you know what Activision are like. They just run. They just seem to run every big franchise they have. They just run it into the ground. As
we saw with poor old Guitar Hero.
Yes, which I loved. Guitar Hero and Tony Hawk are like my two favorite. Well, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 is like one of my favourite.
Did you use the anti-gravity cheat in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4?
I did sometimes because it was hilarious.
For millions of years.
No, what I used to do when you unlocked like the extreme challenges, and it was like get combos of like 1 million points. Yeah. I used to just go into a manual and just sort of mash the buttons and just do random combos like that.
Oh, again, guy exploiting the game. We had enough of this last week about boasting about how you've broken the Tony Hawk's game. Is that the one where you could be Darth Maul and stuff like that?
I'm not sure.
I believe it was. I think I had it on GameCube as well. That controller was awful to play any game apart from Resident Evil 4.
Yeah,
it's not good for Smash Bros.
Oh, here we go.
It's the definitive Smash Bros controller, I'll tell you that.
Well, there you go. It was a strange controller that only a mother could love.
It was better than the N64 controller.
Yeah, I don't even know what was going on.
The N64... People in 50 years' time...
with 3 hands.
People in 50 years' time are going to look back on the N64 controller and go, it was genius. We just didn't see it at the time. It was incredible. There were like...
What is incredible?
There were like 7 different control schemes in one.
Yeah, but you needed 3 hands to be comfortable holding the damn thing.
No, that's not true.
Well, some of us have got 3 hands, Gareth.
Yeah, Gareth.
Yeah. Right, so Tony Hawk, I'm mega excited about that if it actually happens.
Yeah, well, we'll see. It's probably going to just be what if it's Tony Hawk Ride 2?
Then again, I'll cry. Yeah, I know Activision's probably come up to Tony Hawk and said, do you want to make another game, mate? And he's going, yeah, sure. It's $50 million. Get it to us next year.
Well,
I think that's how Activision's run anyway. I've never been part of a games company.
Well, my mind's gone blank. I've lost it.
Anyway, in other news, a few days ago, millions of men were allowed to take turns in a game. Not involving my sister, who has a bit of a reputation, but Pokemon. Would it work? Could the gaming community be trusted to work together to achieve a common goal? What the fuck do you think? Gareth, take it away.
It already works. They've beaten like 5 gyms.
5 gyms, and could Guy have completed 5 gyms in as much time or faster?
Faster.
As little credit as I want to give Guy, the way these guys are playing is actually insane. So for people that don't know, it's called Twitch Plays Pokemon, and it's basically Pokemon Red for the Game Boy, emulated and then set up so the button inputs are all coming from a chat room. So if you type A in the chat room, the game will press A, and it's become pretty popular. There are like 90,000 people all playing Pokemon simultaneously right now.
Well,
But did a command stack up? So if you put A, would someone else put A?
So Pokemon's a really good game for it because there's like deliberate frames of animation and the battles are turn-based. So, for example, if you imagine like the game world has a grid on it, you press left, your character will walk from one block to the next block over. But as he's walking, you can't change the input. So it's like, you know, if you press left and then there's 50,000 inputs in between him moving left and getting to the left block, that they won't register. It'll only be the next input after that, whether it's somebody then pressing up. So it's
first come, first serve, basically.
Yeah, but because there's like a 40-second lag on the stream, and there's a chat room of 90,000 people, like it's just chaos.
They get up to some right japes, don't they?
Yeah.
well, I actually have a Pokemon-related anecdote.
Here we go. Get ready, everyone.
Get ready to be disappointed.
It's ready. It's time for Guy's weekly anecdote on Pokemon.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test. To train them is my cause.
Well, I was off doing my band thing that you so happily criticise and shoot down. And I was interviewing a band last week I went to see.
Have we heard of them?
Yeah, they're like a small up-and-coming band. So
You can just say no, that's fine.
Oh, right.
They're
okay.
not has-beens. They're small and up.
No, yes. I interviewed one old band.
I think you're starting to recognise the whole music journalism now.
No.
Maybe
Well,
sometime you get someone that's current and popular.
Our courage will pull us through. You teach me and I'll teach you. Pokemon. Gotta catch 'em all. Yeah. Every challenge along the way, with courage I will face. I will battle every day to claim my rightful place.
I asked them what they've been doing on tour, and literally, and this is genuinely true, really happily, they just pretty much all said, we've been playing shitloads of Pokemon. And then, like, I'm not sure if they were joking or not, but then...
Did you chastise them for swearing?
No, I didn't, because that was an actual quote as well, then, by the way.
My destiny. Oh, you're my best friend. In a world we must defend. Our hearts so true. Our courage will pull us through. You teach me and I'll teach you. Pokemon. Gotta catch 'em.
Then they were like, oh, their guitarist, Pierre, is French. And I went, oh, so Pierre, you're the crazy one, what have you been doing? And he was like, yeah, I've just started playing Pokemon. And then, this is the moment that I think the band split up. He went, yeah, I've started playing Pokemon, and I've got to be honest, it's shit.
Gotta catch 'em all. Yeah. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. You and me. I know it's my
such a rock and roll thing to say?
No, it's not a rock and roll.
That's so Pierre. That's just so like Pierre.
Yeah.
That is, when I read all of Pierre's kind of interviews in like Hammer magazine and Kerrang, he's always going on about his dislike for Pokemon, and I think that really carves out his personality as somewhat of a kind of loose cannon.
Yeah,
I don't mean
he's
to make
the
any
only...
assumptions or generalisations, but French people don't like Pokemon. There you go.
And then a bit of racism there from Guy Whitlock.
That's not racism.
But yeah, Pierre.
It's not racist.
Yeah, he is an absolute nutter, and he's probably my favourite band member from Smack Lip. Is that their name, Guy?
No.
What's their name?
Fighting Wolves.
Fighting
I think
Wolves.
Rob's name was better.
Yeah, it was actually. Fighting Wolves sound like something Napoleon Dynamite would come up with. Hey, check out this cool new band called Fighting Wolves. It's that kind of thing. But anyway, I like wolf t-shirts. You know when you see old women walking around with t-shirts with wolves howling at the moon?
What?
Come on, you must have seen those kind of wolf t-shirts that people wear.
Not with old women on the inside of them.
If you go on the internet, you'll find plenty.
What?
Anyway, back to the news. We were on to Pokemon. I've never actually been much of a big Pokemon fan, but I can understand why the games are liked. And my friend got the emulators for his PC of Pokemon Yellow, and it was just a big blown up Game Boy screen on his PC screen, and it didn't look too good. But there's got to be a love of Pokemon. I've got a lot of friends who love Pokemon, and Guy's a bit of a challenge here. Can you name every one of the original 50 Pokemon? Now.
You mean 150?
You mean 151?
No, there was only 50 originally.
No, there wasn't.
There was.
There wasn't.
Okay. Well, you two seem to be the authority on Pokemon. I don't know if I'm embarrassed in getting that wrong, or
you should
I feel
be.
wonderfully proud of myself. It could be either
I could
way.
name most of them.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but what was your favourite one, Guy? Which one, if you had to pick a Pokemon to go about your daily life and interview bands, would you choose?
What, from the original?
Yeah, but it can't be Bulbasaur, Charizard. No, it's not Charizard, Charmeleon.
No. Try again.
Charmander.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. And Pikachu. It can't be either of those three starting ones. Because Ash will some of those.
That's a tough one.
Gareth, you must know. Mewtwo.
Of course.
Oh, come on.
What?
He was evil, to be
No,
honest.
he wasn't. He
Wasn't
wasn't
he?
evil.
He hung around with Team Rocket.
No, he didn't. He was created. Well, not by Team Rocket, but...
Well, by
I
the
can't
leader
remember.
of Team Rocket.
Yeah.
By Giovanni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there you go. That's nice.
Such a
but we were
cop-out
talking
answer, guy.
about Pokemon. And Pokemon, the whole gaming community coming together. The next game I'd like to see the community play is probably Halo. I think that would be very fun and quite interesting.
Well, they're
Okay,
playing other
so-
games as well. Like, somebody took the inputs from the same Pokemon chat and just applied them to Tetris.
And you could do that with any game. And I'm sure that the guy who did that is having hours of fun applying those inputs into a variety of games.
And probably rolling in money.
Yeah, he's probably loving it, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he's about to go out and buy one of those Xbox bundles. Okay, well, normally we end the news here, but with the danger of Guy throwing a strop at being unable to relate his latest Nintendo-based news,
We've just...
let's all now listen to what Guy has been told exclusively this week in a new item I like to call What Has Shigeru Miyamoto Told Guy Whitlock Regarding Nintendo This Week via SMS text messaging. And a little bit of trivia for all you Game Central listeners. That is actually SMS Morse code for text messaging,
Oh.
which is quite good.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
you know
awesome.
that that original text message sound. I don't know if you were around them days, Guy, but the old Nokia stuff used to go. That actually means SMS text messaging.
No, you said that. Of course it does. Like dot is S in SOS. Dash dash dot. So of course dot.
Yeah, of course. When I realised that, I should.
Yeah.
It was so obvious all along.
I say we do the rest of this podcast in Morse code. Dot, and then people can just decode it. It'll be fun. So what has Shigeru Miyamoto told you this week, Guy, via SMS text messaging?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Great.
But there is Nintendo news, sort of.
What?
Okay.
This is the whole point.
Well,
you make it sound like he's texted you.
Well, he obviously hasn't. I'm fairly sure no listeners are sitting up
Look
there
through your
going,
phone,
"Oh,
Matt.
someone's texting. This will be interesting."
But I got an actual message from Shigeru Miyamoto earlier on today, and it says, "Me no like Guy. Guy keeps sending me picture. Please talk to Guy. He keeps sending me picture." So, I don't know what you were sending him, Guy, but we know you're a big Nintendo fan, so we could probably guess.
The only real big Nintendo thing this week, that's not directly them, is Seth Rogen is writing a movie about the Sega versus Nintendo console war.
Oh, and what a better person to do it than him,
Yeah,
Mr. Seth Rogen. I act as the love
I don't-
guy in every movie and only being beaten by Adam Sandler for most repeated character.
I don't understand the point of business-orientated films like that. Like The Social Network, I haven't watched it, and I'm never going to watch it. I don't care about.
Some guy
Yeah.
that's going to start making those sort of
Yeah, it
movies in
will.
the future.
Well, what's gonna? I don't get it.
What do you mean?
Like, why does the idea for this film exist?
Well, some people are interested in it, aren't they?
But why? It happened. It's most people that would be interested in it were alive when it happened.
So you're basically saying films like Saving Private Ryan, no one would be interested in because no one's around that would have been there when it happened.
No, that's not at all what I was saying. I was saying that everyone was around when it happened. So why would anyone want to watch
Was you
the film?
around when Saving Private Ryan happened?
I'm not saying.
You were probably in the corner crying with that other guy that couldn't shoot anyone, breathing heavily in his ear. Better stop doing that as I give myself a panic attack. But yeah, so anyway, Guy, your news is basically something that you're not interested in at all.
Well, I don't know. It might be alright, but it's. I don't know. I don't.
I don't know how he's going to do it really because
Yeah.
they're Japanese companies. Unless you hire, give me a Japanese actor quickly, Gareth.
Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan. Unless you hire Jackie Chan, there's no one else that's going to be able to. And he
George
can't
Takei.
play. There you go, Jackie Chan and George Takei, the leaders of Sega and Nintendo, and they can have a massive fight, and that would be a brilliant film. Where's Jet Li from? This isn't being racist, is it?
Yeah, Jackie Chan's not Japanese. There's no way.
Is he Chinese?
Yeah.
So why did you tell me? And
Because
made me look
George Takei is as well.
I thought
actually.
it'd be funny, then I felt guilty about it.
what, by saying he's Japanese.
Yeah.
You found Jackie again!
You don't want
Of course.
Jackie Chan angry at you.
No, you don't, especially as he's an avid listener of this podcast.
Of course.
He listens to it with Shigeru Miyamoto.
Yeah.
Right, so is that it for your news this week, Guy, regarding Nintendo?
I don't know why I'm looking around my room hoping some sort of news is going to pop out of somewhere.
I think your argument for this film not being made is pretty shit.
Well,
His argument for anything...
my argument is why? Why is
Well,
it being
okay,
made?
but your argument was that for the Social Network, which won like Oscars. So no
Yeah.
one's going to listen
Have
to
you seen
you.
the Social Network? Well, no one's going to listen to me anyway. I
Yeah, I've
understand
seen
this.
the Social
When I wake
Network.
up in the morning, I don't wake up and go, I think I might start a revolution today. I wake up and go, oh, time for an
Nobody
update at the
does,
office
Guy.
where everyone ignores me. Then I'm going to come home and be ignored and at home in my room by myself.
Oh, dear. We don't ignore you. We talk to you for an hour and a half a week.
Yeah, you were lucky to get that.
Yeah.
What?
Right.
There's plenty of swimming to be done, guy.
Kick a man while he's down.
Yeah, me and Gareth could be swimming right now. But we're choosing to spend the evening talking to you about the latest goings on in the world of gaming.
Well,
And this is what you come
have
up with.
either of you seen the Social Network?
Yes, I thought it was a rather informative film.
I saw it and didn't like it.
Yeah, but you know.
Well, then why are you playing devil's
Because
advocate?
nobody cares what I think either. What they care about is it got nominated for Oscars.
Caring what I think?
Because your argument's silly.
There is hardly any kind of basis for your arguments, Guy. Rarely.
It's like, why, aside from that these films get nominated for awards and make billions of pounds, why would they ever make these films?
Why would you do that? Why?
So
It's almost like it's a business. Oh.
Why am I suddenly some like 30 silent movie villain
I don't know.
just sitting in my room?
It wouldn't
Wait,
be a
why
silent
would you?
movie,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be a good podcast otherwise. Silent podcast villain.
This is what it would sound like if you were in a silent movie.
So basically, that's the news wrapped up for this week, unless you've got anything you want to jump in with, Guy, because I'm always aware that whenever I end sections, you just jump in and say, no, actually.
Has that not only happened like once?
No, that happens every week, where you jump on your high horse.
You know, I don't know.
Excellent.
The second track I'm going to play for you this week actually was played on Classic FM a couple of weeks ago, and people picked it up and posted it on the page, were tweeting about it. It's actually because of voting for things like this that Classic FM have actually added songs like this to their sort of usual repertoire. So it's actually quite important, because it'll just mean that songs from video games get played more often and get taken a lot more seriously the way they should. So this is from Halo 3, and it's One Final Effort.
Right, so to stop Guy's rambling, where he just says, we're going to go on to one of my favourite sections of the week, which is, what is the back of the game that Rob is reading the back of the game box? Can you tell what the game is just by what he's saying? Right, so last week's winner was... Oh, I had his name on my phone, but I forgot, which isn't very good. And I can't log into my phone because, unfortunately, it's run out of battery. But let's just say his name is Norman Elliott. Congratulations, Norman Elliott. There is a prize winging its way to you. And I don't know what it's going to be, but it will be from Guy's personal collection. What was last week's game, guys?
Whiplash.
Whiplash. And that was actually a game that Guy played.
Yeah.
I did.
But
Well, the demo.
as usual...
Yeah, it was a demo.
He's still going to play the full game, is he? What's the point? What's
That's
the
asking a
point
bit
in
much.
the game? It is asking a bit much. I like to think that Guy, he gets sent little demos by all the gaming companies, and they ask him, Guy, is there a point in us making this? Because you've got such great judgment. Can you just play the demo and let us know? Just get back in contact with us. Excellent. So this week, I'm going to try something a bit harder, because if Guy can work out what it was, I obviously wasn't trying hard enough. Okay, here we go. Fly through the skies of blah blah as blah blah, the blah blah who defends all that is good with the strength and power of 100,000 horses, a rapid-firing arm cannon, and laser beam attacks. Battle against devilish robots of almighty to ultimately discover your human spirit. The blankety blank. I used to love blankety blank. That was one of those game shows that doesn't seem to be around anymore. And the Generation game. You used to love that, didn't you, Guy?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
It was brilliant. But anyway, if you know what that game was, send me an invite. I don't know why you'd send me an invite. Send a message via my Facebook. And my name is Robert Walker. And my profile picture is the man with his gland out. So anyway, that's absolutely fantastic. So let me talk to you a little bit, guys, before we move on to the next section, about what's Rob been doing with his illness this week. Now, I have an illness where sometimes I do things that I shouldn't. And basically, this week, I don't know if either of you guys saw that, what's it called? The Real Cam Girls on BBC.
Oh,
It was about webcam ladies. And anyway, there was a lovely woman on there called Carla. And I was sitting there watching it with my girlfriend, as you do. And I'm not the kind of guy that can hide his feelings. If I like something that could piss my girlfriend off, I'll literally just say it. So there was this girl called Carla from Brentwood. And basically, she was in this lovely lingerie. She was doing these cam shows for guys. And I said, she is absolutely beautiful. So my girlfriend looked at me with eyes of hatred. So continue watching. And the next minute, between the cam shows, she goes and plays the Xbox. I know, right? I sit up in bed and I look at her and I go, she's an angel. And by this point, my girlfriend's really angry. And I can feel her just about to punch me in the face. So I'm trying to get her on the podcast, not my girlfriend, the woman who's called Carla. I've sent her a friend's request on Facebook.
Oh, God.
She accepted the other day. So hopefully, Guy, next week we could have a porn star / webcam girl / gamer. That's going to be a bit uncomfortable for you, isn't it?
Is that a reputation we really want?
It is, yes. We won't be seen as the danger guys in gaming.
You know, some might say we're even like the Top Gear of gaming. Some might say that, not me.
I would say we are the bottom gear.
That was that was not me that said that. I did. That is not a quote from me. That's
Gareth's in fifth gear.
Oh.
Well, What do we like to call this section, Gareth?
Is this retro game?
This is Retro Game of the Week.
Okay.
Have you got the results up there, Guy?
I haven't, but it was the Punisher. I'm pretty sure.
The Punisher.
I'm
When I said
scrolling.
Punisher,
I'm scrolling
I think
furiously looking for the results.
Actually, don't tell the results because then people might know how little people actually vote. In a group of thousands of people, I get scared when I only just hear a few people every day. You know, I want to hear thousands of voices all at once, but that rarely happens. And I think we should give a call out to Gamecentral, get all those people on board, and we can really start a revolution in gaming. So, the Punisher.
It was the Punisher.
What were the options? You picked Mario Kart.
I did.
didn't
That got
Actually,
4 votes.
People ignored.
Donkey
Gareth,
Konga
who chose Donkey Konga,
got
which
3
is
votes. That's less than me
Wait.
for once.
well done, Guy. You can put that on your CV.
I will.
And I picked Punisher, which funnily I thought wouldn't get any votes at all because it's kind of like a movie license tie-in. But it's quite loved, isn't it, Guy, as we found out?
Apparently.
Yes.
And it received over 4,000 votes, which is absolutely amazing. Have either of you played it? No, Gareth, have you played it?
No, but did you say it was based on the Punisher film that came out?
No, it wasn't. Tom Jane, who played Punisher, he actually provided his voice, but it was based upon the comic books.
Okay.
It was a brilliant game. Guy, sorry, I didn't ask you if you played it. Do your motto.
No, I haven't played it.
No, you haven't played it, which is excellent. Basically, it was a third-person shooter. It came out in a time where there was a lot of bad and negative feelings towards licensed games, and it came out at that time where superhero games were really getting popular. And it wasn't just the atmosphere of the game; it was the gameplay as well. The way that you shot, the way you could pick up 2 shotguns, just bust into a room. The same as Spider-Man 2, which is another one of my favourite superhero games. You really felt like, you were embodying that superhero. And I wouldn't really say Punisher's a superhero, he's just a badass. Mm-hmm. And, I like to think that if something similar happened to my family, I wouldn't sit at home crying about it, eating mayonnaise. I would go out and do something. I've already got my Punisher t-shirt ready, quite morbidly. If something like that happens, I just need to get a trench coat. But I haven't really found one I like yet. I went to Camden the other day, and there was quite a few, but they all had like studs and that on them. And I'm not going to wear that because it won't make me look cool. But anyway, it's a brilliant game. It's varied in its locations. You can go to an aquarium. You can go to a dinosaur museum. You start off in what I like to call the hood. Being from there myself, I can say that. You go to high-rise buildings. You go to the jungle in one scene.
Wow.
And there's little bits from the movies, like the fight with the Russian in your apartment. It still plays really well now, and you can play it. The original one on your Xbox 360 is backwards compatible.
Oh, cool.
Which is excellent. But it was just the gameplay was so smooth. It was violent. There was execution moves. So if someone had a skull above their head, you could kind of interact with the scenery, and you could force them into a kind of wood chipper.
Okay.
I don't know what that sounds. I think that's Guy getting excited again because I said wood chipper.
What, sorry?
Was you getting excited again? You can tell when Guy's not listening.
No, I
like,
took my headset off to put my hoodie on because I was getting cold.
Tune out whenever he fancies.
No, I was just putting my
friends
top
at the
on.
door. You were putting a top on.
It was cold.
Oh my god, he's sitting there half naked, breathing heavily down the bloody microphone.
Who said anything about half naked?
Oh dear, he's fully naked. He's just got a t-shirt.
Just putting my socks.
That is absolutely beautiful imagery. But where was I? Yeah, it was fantastic, and you could kind of, I don't know, it was quite sick. It was censored towards the end because obviously when you went to finally punish them, as it were, and end the interrogation, it would go black and white and the camera would kind of pan away. Mm-hmm. But they were left in there till a late date until they were actually cut out. But you could kind of use the analog stick to kind of tease the guy into it, to give you information. and then if they gave you the information, right, you could let them go, or you could just feed them through that wood chipping machine. It was really good. It was a violent, visceral game, not taken down to child-friendly levels, as some games do seem to go. But I think it's one of the few games where it actually does the source material justice. And there's nothing like justice, is there?
So, like... sorry.
Go on, Gary.
Because I've not played it, I just have questions.
Okay, thank you.
How much... So you say you fight the Russian in the same fight from the film, but how much comic book stuff is there? Like, how much new stuff that isn't in the film?
I mean, most of it is based on the comics. I haven't really read the comics myself, but you'll get flashbacks and stuff like that. You'll get collectors stuff where you'll get... What I liked about it is any weapons that you picked up in the level, you then got to take over to the next level. It stays in your locker, so you can then pick those guns for the next... But it's brilliant going into a room, keeping the door open with 2 shotguns, obviously one in each hand. You're not going to hold it in the same hand. And then the way he shoots, and then he kind of throws it up in the air and cocks it, and then... and people just flying everywhere. And then you go nuts, and you start throwing knives at people when you enter rage mode, and you're just lobbing these knives across the room into people's faces. And then every so often, because he's a troubled guy, he'll have like a flashback, and then you'll see like an image of his family. And it's really well done. And, you know, if you want the Punisher experience, you can get it on PC as well, Gareth. And I would go back to it now, and I played it a few weeks ago. And because it's so simplistic, I wouldn't say simplistic, but the gameplay mechanics are kind of those kind of... He doesn't jump around, he doesn't do that. It's kind of like a Max Payne style third person, but without the bullet time. And, you know, I would highly recommend it. And the graphics still look good when you put it in the Xbox 360 to this day. So if you see it around, Guy, make sure you snap it up.
I will.
Sounds like it's definitely capitalising on what that film was cool for. Because that film was cool because it was a comic book film, but I
actually didn't mind the film, to be honest. It got slated. But I liked it.
Like you stab somebody up through the mouth, and you see the knife come through the guy's mouth.
Are we talking about the Punisher or the Punisher Warzone?
Thomas Jane, the first Punisher film.
Thomas Jane and John Travolta.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that film, but a lot of people just say, "Oh, shit, it's crap." I suppose he's not the best Punisher. The Warzone one, the guy from... What's the guy from, the one that's in Warzone?
Fuck.
Come on, guy. Think with us. 3 heads are better than 1.
Use your Google brain, guy.
Guy, access to Google.
No.
Big guy. He's a big guy. Just type that into Google.
I've given up the Googling in the past.
Wow, what made you do that, Guy?
Just this second when I decided I couldn't really be bothered.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So, Guy, does that sound like a game you would like to play?
Yeah, sounds good.
And seriously, anyone out there, if you like comic book games and you saw it and you thought, you know, I'm not going to go for that, that's a licensed piece of crap. It's actually not. It's nothing really to do with the film. He's voiced by Tom Jane, but it's nothing like the film.
But the film's good.
The film's good, but it wouldn't necessarily make a great game.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Watch the film. Watch the Punisher film. I played...
Oh, God, he got a bit... You can't mention... Alright, no one... It wasn't voted for, and you can't get it in there.
Alright, I'll bleep it out every time I've just said it, though.
Yeah, say it again. Good. It's a dirty word.
I won't
go that far.
I won't
You're
say
right.
Whoa, here he goes with his claims. Right, so Ray Stevenson played Frank Castle. As you can see, I'm doing it on my phone, so you don't hear... He was in 4. That's not what I know him from. I've never seen 4, but that's a good film, isn't it, Gareth?
Who did he play in Thor?
I don't know. It's not 4, that's for sure.
No.
That right. Dexter, who's in Dexter, yeah, that's what I know him from as well. Rome.
He was in Rome?
Yeah.
Hey, it's lovely there.
That's very good. Do you want to do another one on that guy?
Guy's gone.
Nope.
He was in Band of Gold as well, which was quite interesting. My mum used to love Band of Gold, but I was too young. It was in 1995. I was 10 years old, so I wouldn't have been allowed to watch that. It was about prostitutes, if you must know. So anyway, yeah, that's Retro Game of the Week, The Punisher. If you see it out there, pick it up. If you don't see it out there, pick it up from somewhere else. So, Jingle!
It's time for our final piece of music, which means it's time for my final chance to remind you to please just go to classicfm.com and vote for any 3 video game soundtracks. Doesn't have to be the 3 you've heard here, doesn't have to be any that you've heard the previous weeks. You don't even have to vote for video game soundtracks, to be honest. Go and vote for Star Wars or whatever classical piece you like. As long as you vote, as long as you represent gamers in a positive way, then I'm proud of you. And I've also kind of saved the best till last. I'm treating you. There's a little treat for you. This last song really doesn't need any introduction. This is The Legend of Zelda.
So, what have we been playing this week? As usual, there hasn't been many releases, but Guy, you have been playing a game this week, I am sure.
I've been playing lots of games this week. For a change. Had my first experience of Super Mario 3D World multiplayer.
Okay, and would you say that was an experience that you would like to revisit?
It is, yes. It's quite fun with 3 people, especially when I win every time.
Oh, here we go. A game that you can actually win at. So what is the premise? What do you have to do to win?
You just get scored like you used to in old Mario games. Then you get bonus points for getting to the top of the flagpole and getting coins or whatever.
So it's kind of like a race. You all do the same level simultaneously.
You can work together. But
Guy, you're not explaining the premise. I don't know about Gareth.
It's just like 3D World, but with more than one person. It's exactly the same, but with more than one person.
So you're all playing the game simultaneously?
Yeah. Is that not the premise of a multiplayer game? Or
where did you find them?
What do you mean, where did I find them?
People to play with.
I was stood on the street. Just sort of I was busted with my guitar.
Yeah.
A little thing. Just asking for friends.
With your little thing.
Any spare friends? Any spare friends? I'll take any.
Any spare friends to play. But you enjoyed it, did you?
I did, yeah.
And did you have a thing called banter? Because that's an important thing that's been lost in gaming of late, isn't it? Everyone huddled around the console, insulting each other.
No, yeah, there was a lot of that and violence.
What was the best insult you did, Guy?
I can't remember.
So any other games you've been playing?
Black Ops 2, as always.
Still boring.
Bioshock Infinite.
Oh, Guy.
I haven't completed it.
Oh my god!
I think I'm really close. I think I'm really close to the end, but I don't know. I don't really want to do any more spoilers. But
yeah.
How can I describe it? Giant airship battle.
Oh, that's not a spoiler, is it?
Trying to avoid spoilers.
Giant airship battle. That sounds like something that just
without
happens
context. Without context, it's minimally spoilery.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. I take back what I just said, Guy.
Is that close to
Are
the end?
you still enjoying it, or?
Just want to finish it, to be honest. As I said on the page, at some point in the week, like yesterday, I think it was, I find first-person shooters, almost all of them, get repetitive very quickly. I like it. Yeah. I like the story, and I want to know what happens, but I think I can predict the ending.
Go. You predict the ending. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you get anywhere close, I will give you £1,000.
I think Comstock is Booker in an alternate universe.
That's not an ending. That's just a thing you just said.
Well, not the ending, but one of the key ending plot points.
At the end, he just goes, "I'm Booker in another dimension."
Oh, by the way,
why me? And then it closes to credits. That's Guy's ending. I think that's actually a lot better than the actual ending that happened, Gareth.
It's not bad. It could have been a lot worse.
It's not bad. It could have been a lot worse.
Do they just end up in Rapture or something? I don't know. I can see where I don't know how it's actually going to end, like what the ending scene will be, but I can see where the story's going, roughly.
Yeah, I couldn't see where it was going at all. I don't know about you, Gareth, but the ending's so kind of unique and out there that it would be very hard to just predict what's going to happen.
Yeah, there's never been an ending like that ambitious, so it's impossible to sort of see it coming. But the place they take that game is kind of amazing. I think maybe like next week we should do a whole section that's just spoiler talk about it, and I'll time frame it so people can skip over it if they haven't.
Well, hopefully by next week I will have finished it. But I actually got stuck and got annoyed and turned it off. I played it for hours Sunday morning, and I was hoping to get through it and finish it, but I got stuck and annoyed. So
there's only one way to go, like 99% of the time.
Oh, I mean,
Probably wasn't even stuck in the game, Gareth. He's stuck in his...
I didn't get lost. I got stuck at a difficult section, which, again, I don't really want to throw out any spoilers, but you have to...
Was it a massive airship battle, by any chance?
You have to defend a generator or something.
We all have to do that. What, That generator didn't do anything to you, mate. Leave it alone. I'm defending it.
He ain't worth it.
Leave it out. That generator ain't done nothing, mate. I like that bit with the where you have to choose what to say, like in Mass Effect. So, any other games you've been playing, Kai? Because as we said, we were going to do a Bioshock.
Still trying to play Guacamelee, but I'm just completely stuck.
Again?
Little section. Oh, don't even start me on that. That's just stupid.
Are there any games that you've kind of just come to the end of and felt satisfied?
There's actually very few.
Yeah. It sounds like
I'm not good at. No, Guacamelee. Literally, there's one room again. I'm really close to the end, and it's just I just don't understand how it's possible. It's the most stupid puzzle in the universe. See, you have to.
You go into games with the very best intentions, and then.
No, because it's a section that's sort of a bit like Portal, except you have to swap dimensions to reverse the portals as well, whilst you're flying through the air on a screen that moves far too fast to give you time to think.
That is kindergarten level, yeah. The amount of portals I've gone through, mate. I actually downloaded LA free, but I didn't play too much of it. I'm stuck in Lone Survivor at the moment. And if anyone goes on about Lone Survivor being one of those great arcade games, indie games, in the same vein as Braid or Limbo, I'll simply just spit at them. Because it's not on that level at all. But I'll get into that after. I don't want to overtake what Guy's been playing or got stuck on, which isn't what this section's called. What did Guy get stuck on this week?
That's about it, I think. Oh, no, I've started playing Gran Turismo 6 again.
Did you get stuck? Like on the wall, revving your engine? This corner seems terribly complicated.
No, that didn't happen.
I hear you're a bit of a don at Gran Turismo, to be honest, though. Right?
I'm not. I think it's just Martin and Brendan are particularly poor.
Oh, okay.
Well,
you wipe the floor with them?
Shots fired? Fucking hell.
Well,
you have to wait for retaliation.
Yeah. Well, no, that's it. That's pretty much all I've been playing. On that note of me offending yet more members of the group.
Gareth, go.
Well, let's see. Played more Fallout 3. That game's really addictive once you start playing. You can't really...
Yeah, I was listening back to the podcast the last week, and you said you had a few minutes to spare, so you stuck on Fallout 3. Now, that's not the first thing that comes to mind when you've got a few minutes to kill, is it?
Yeah, it was a mistake.
Entering your name at the title screen.
I really shouldn't have done it, because now I played a few hours of Battlefield as well, because I downloaded those new maps, and they're all remixed Battlefield 3 maps, and I played a lot of Battlefield 3, so that's really cool. But then, any time I would die in a bullshit way in Battlefield, I'm like, I'll just play fucking Fallout again. Just put fucking Fallout on, and I'll just blow someone's head off with one shot, and the head will go flying for miles, and I'll pick up the gun from a chunk of tow. And just have fun.
The tow gun, that's one of my favourite. It's absolutely brilliant.
But no, I played Battlefield, played those new maps. It's all maps from Battlefield 3, but they're sort of remixed. It's really weird. So you go on it thinking oh, I know this map. I'm going to go to my favourite bit, and then it's your favourite bit is off the map.
So it's kind of like you've got Alzheimer's. I swear there was something here before. Last time I was here, there was a little conclave that I like to come into. But now it's like you remember, but different.
Yeah, it's like if you're looking at it from above, if you're looking at it straight down from say a satellite photo,
bird's eye view.
Yeah, it's like they sort of took the satellite and moved it a few hundred meters to the right, and then just put the map there instead. So you have half of your level that you liked, and then a bit that you never got to explore because it was always out of bounds.
Kind of like DVD extras.
Sort of, yeah. Except if you're downloading the map pack for Battlefield 3 maps, you just want the map. Don't give me some fucking weird version where now there's loads of sniper towers for some reason. Or why Operation Metro.
Snipers. Do you ever come across someone called XX? Elite Snipes 2001 XX. I love those kind of guys.
They are so pro.
They are so pro. Pro Scope 2000. You know, they are the best players out there. I love those guys.
Yeah. So it's really weird. I don't regret buying premium to play it because it's still fun, and I'll play loads more. But I was a bit disappointed with the Battlefield 3 maps they brought back. They're not quite what I was looking for. Some of them are a bit smaller than they were in Battlefield 3. I guess because they shipped a game that was exploding, so they sort of had to fix it first. Probably didn't have as much time. It's
Imagine
understandable.
if they put out a new maps and they were just bugging everywhere. That would be a good news story.
Yeah, but that's fine. So aside from that, I also played a shit ton of League of Legends. Which...
Oh dear.
Oh no. No. I can't work with him anymore.
What? Why?
Whoa! Shots fired, but this time they're going to be bloody return guy.
Oh, League of Legends.
Yeah?
That's...
What? It's what? Do you actually have a point, or are you just going to sigh down the microphone?
That's what he
Well,
does.
I just want to side, to be honest.
Let's be honest.
This is the extent of my arguments. It's not just on Skype I do that. In real life, I start an argument and just... Once I feel like I'm on the back foot, I just sigh at them.
So if you get into a fight in a pub, you just look at the guy and go...
Someone punches me to the floor, I get up, I look him square in the eye, and I sigh right in his face.
Oh, yes.
No,
That'll show him.
I've used to play League of Legends, but the problem I have is it's just such a... It's impossible to just jump in and play it every now and then.
I didn't actually know what League of Legends was till
You
I
have
went...
you have to really invest to be good, and it has got the worst community. Trust me, I used to be a terrible, terrible part of that community. But
Like you are with Gamecentral.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, I went into... there was like a stage set up for League of Legends players. And I sat down with my girlfriend. I said, I've heard about this, but I haven't actually seen it. And there was two commentators in like this commentary box on either side the two teams. And basically it started, and then the big screen just basically going... and he's like, oh my god, he's putting 600 inputs in a second. And then like the other people come, and this big dragon comes over or whatever. And then everyone's running, and then someone gets knocked over. And I just turned to my girlfriend and I said, I've got no idea what's going on. Let's just go and have something to eat.
Yeah, I don't think it's a fun game to watch. I think if you're going to watch any video game be played competitively, I think StarCraft's what you should be watching.
Yeah.
Even though that is complicated, it's 1v1, and the commentators are always talking you through what's going on. Whereas in League of Legends, 5v5...
Yeah, they use so much terminology.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. He's buffered his sphincter! And, you know, I don't know. That's just something I heard within all the crazy knowledge that was going on.
Well, yeah.
But, yeah, those games are big in Korea and stuff, aren't they? Like StarCraft and... what's the other one? They've just released the new one. Well, they haven't just released it.
Dota 2 is pretty big.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
They have their actual gaming celebrities out there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But, yeah, I play a lot of League of Legends. I just have
Who do you main?
I have a few.
Sorry, who do you what?
Oh, sorry. Main, it's a technical term for the character.
Who do you mainly play as?
Yes.
Yeah, but there you go.
Well, I didn't want to patronise you by giving such a simple explanation, so I thought it'd be needlessly complicated.
Yeah, well, I patronised myself by then kind of seeing that it explained itself, really.
Yeah.
But you two did sound cool saying that terminology, by the way. Anyway, Gareth, who do you main?
I quite like Lux. I actually bought a skin for her this week. It was on sale. That's pretty cool. I main Malzahar if I go mid.
Jingle. Going mid, you could kind of get away with that a few years ago, but now, you know, with all the new kind of classes, that's suicide.
Well, what got me to play a lot more League of Legends is that they announced the new champion that's coming out.
Yeah.
And his mechanic is like spamming spells, just throwing out tons of spells all the time. And that's what I like to do anyway. So I was like, I'm going to get this guy. This guy looks fun. But I needed to play a lot to earn enough points to, when he comes out, buy him. So I've been doing that.
And when is he preparing to come out, as you put it?
Pretty soon, like within the next week or so, we'll be out.
Do you ever play Dominion?
Dominion sucks ass.
No, I still like jumping
guys,
on for a bit of
Dominion
Dominion every now and then. Dominion's
Dominion. What are you talking about, Dominion?
good.
Why do you main as Minion?
There's there's
You can't main as someone else, pal.
there's a limited edition game mode out now called Hexakill, which is 6-on-6.
Ooh.
That's fun. And have you played Aram?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's always good. That's good when you're in a Skype call with a group of like 11 other people. That is quite hilarious.
That sounds fun.
This is back in the days when I played my PC quite a lot, and not in any way earlier on this evening.
Yeah, but now you've got homework. You have to complete Bioshock before next week.
Yeah, I said I was going to complete Bioshock for next week, like 2 weeks ago. Get over
Yeah,
it.
you did. We don't forget.
We don't.
Really?
Yeah. Right, so, Gareth, that sounds all well and good, and I'm glad you're getting back into League of Legends.
Yeah, I've got my two game
I've been kind of excited this week with the whole Xbox Live deals. There's been some pretty good ones on there. I picked up the Toy Soldiers for free.
Mm-hmm.
Toy Soldiers was mentioned on the group as well, called Cold War, I think it is.
Yeah.
It's just really good. It's like kind of a mix between a tower defense and Command and Conquer, kind of trying to stop a threat from getting overrun in your base by setting up little structures to defend your area. And it was really good. I really enjoyed it. It's a bit short. I didn't find a few people have been saying it's hard, but I didn't find it particularly hard, and I kind of breezed through it.
Short and hard.
Short and hard, just the way we like it. Got Limbo for $1.99 as well.
Awesome.
That's a nice atmospheric game. It kind of reminds me of my childhood, but I won't go into that.
God.
I know, Gareth. Tell me about it. And when I was playing it, it was freaky how close it was. You know, every time I'd go to a new area, it would kind of be like, wow, it's almost as if this guy knows me. And it probably explains why I am the way I am today. Limbo, obviously FIFA was pretty good. I'm actually quite bitter when it comes to FIFA because I got sacked as Charlton Athletic manager.
How do you get sacked on FIFA?
I know. This is the thing, right? Charlton, a championship side. First year, got them into the Premier League. Second year, kept them in the Premier League after a fierce relegation battle. Third year, right, got them into the Europa League. Fourth year, got them into the Champions League. Fifth year, got sacked. Now, you know, I think that's a pretty good management style. And I was progressing every year. But, you know, I don't know why I got sacked. And it annoyed me so much because it's not like other games. It's like, that's 50 hours, probably, that I put into that game. And you're just sacking me for no apparent reason. You know, it's annoying because I can't have a conversation with the console. I can't ask for a hearing. I can't ask for an unfair dismissal claim against
Then
it.
what the hell are they doing with the Kinect? Surely, if anything, you should be able to do that in FIFA. Go to a managerial hearing.
But that's 50. It's like having a like Skyrim save just deleted. So I'm manager of Norwich now, and I'm really bitter, and I can't wait till I play Charlton. But it's like I've heard people getting sacked for using foul language with the Kinect. My Kinect's unplugged because I do use foul language even when not playing FIFA. It's like when I'm watching Underworld, I will just sit there and explicitly state what I would do to Kate Beckinsale. You know? And I don't want the Kinect to suddenly stop me from watching DVDs. Like, you're not allowed to watch DVDs because you say swear words while you're watching it, and that's absolutely out of order. But yeah, I think the Kinect dictating whether you... I just unplugged a little prick when I heard about what he's been doing. Little job stuff, just sitting there looking like bloody Rob from Nintendo, that little plastic idiot, crossed with Wally, dictating to me what I can and can't do in my games. It's like having a bloody teacher sitting there. Oh, too much swearing, you're sacked on FIFA. Can you imagine if you went to log in on Assassin's Creed? Oh, the pirates have thrown you off the ship because you used too many swear words. You know, Halo. Oh, you're not a member of the UNSC anymore because you swear too much. It's ridiculous. And I hope another game isn't going to use Kinect. The Kinect basically sits there. I'm looking at it now with rage because I don't agree with it. And it's unplugged from my console. I used to get on with it when I first got my Xbox One. It took me about 10 minutes trying to get it in the actual Xbox One console because it had a kind of protective thing on the connection, and I was trying to push it in with that on it, and it was only because it was like literally jet black, and it just looked like it fitted the Kinect, and that was the input. So we had some good times. I'd say like Xbox on, go to YouTube, go to YouTube, go to YouTube. Go, you fucking little prick! And then it's like, don't swear at me, you're not using YouTube anymore. So I just unplugged it and threw it in my cupboard. Not that I threw it in my cupboard because it's sitting there and I'm not going to destroy it just in case Microsoft go back on their word and say, now you actually do need the Kinect. But yeah, I downloaded Pool Nation, which is a nice little pool game. I used to love the snooker games on PlayStation 2, like World Championship Snooker, you know, when you get the lines and it tells you the trajectory of the balls and everything. Because I was a simple kid in primary school, they used to make me play this little game on one of the DOS files, which was basically inputting angles into a snooker table and making the ball go everywhere. Some people of a particular age may remember that game, and I wish that they bring it back on Xbox One with updated graphics, which I think would be absolutely brilliant. But yeah, so I've been playing indie games a lot recently. I tried Lone Survivor, which has been getting a lot of critical acclaim. Yeah. I don't know if either of you have played it, but it's a absolute mess. And I'd like you to play it, Guy, to see if you feel the same. But maybe I'm just missing what it is. But, you know, I like Hotline Miami, like I say, Limbo, Braid, all these kind of games that are held up on a pedestal as great examples of that indie genre. But there's just, it's Lone Survivor. It's confusing. I don't normally get confused with games, but there doesn't seem to be much direction in it. And you're kind of walking around and then you start saying, I'm hungry. And then you give him something to eat. And then the next 10 minutes, I'm hungry. It's kind of like an ode to Silent Hill, but it's just been praised up and praised up. But I can't really see what it is. Been playing Assassin's Creed, Black Flag, and Dead Rising 3, as usual. Nothing to change there. Played a bit of Persona 4 Arena. I love the artwork in these games, but I just don't like them. I don't like playing them. I as someone that likes to draw myself, when it's like BlazBlue, King of Fighters 12, yeah. You know, I love the motion, I love the artwork and the way it's so fluid and beautiful. It's like watching an anime, but I just don't get on with them. I've never been a kind of beat 'em up fan, but I do really appreciate the artistic style of them, and I love it. And I'll just watch like mangas all day, and it's one of the reasons why I like Metal Gear Solid's character designs, because I just do. But anyway, yeah, I forgot to bring this up in news, a little news offshot here, news extra, if you will. You kind of, you know, when you watch like your regional news, you watch like not London Tonight, but you watch the ITV news, and it says now over to London for the news where you are. This is kind of like that. I noticed that Metal Gear's Ground Zeroes is going to be £22 on PS4. That's what Xavier pre-ordering it for.
Oh, well, when did that happen?
I don't know, but you know, I think at that price it's quite tempting. $22.99 they've got it listed at on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. I think Guy's going on to Google now.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
What are you looking at? If you're not on Google, what else are you doing?
Nothing.
You're just tapping the keys on your your keyboard.
Well, I'm sitting in front of my computer. I'm just doing bits and bobs.
Can't you do them after?
I can, but wait a minute.
I don't know why you say. Do you say, "Oh, I've got so much to do. I'll leave it till the podcast later." You know, I'll do it then in my spare time. Anyway, yeah, that's what I've been playing this week. Unfortunately, our guest this week, who was a pro gamer. Why does the term pro gamer seem to bring about a lot of hate from people? Is it because it's something that's not really regarded as anything, or?
I think it just because it implies that people who aren't a pro are somehow inferior.
Maybe.
I mean, I've watched a lot of competitive StarCraft and League of Legends, so it doesn't bother me. But I can see how somebody not sort of keeping up with all that would be a bit offended, maybe.
Yeah, but anyway, that person is dead to me. I hope that he's not going to darken my doorstep ever again.
That's
And
right.
hopefully
we could have
next
tried to
week.
get him on next week or something.
I don't care anymore,
You're
guy.
bloody slagging him off. What's wrong with you? That's not very
Slag-
professional. Jesus Christ.
Right, so anyway, he's not on anymore, and hopefully next week we're going to have a porn star.
Oh,
But,
for God's sake.
Guy, you are going to be so uncomfortable, trust me. If you'd like to watch any of our porn videos, Guy, before, I will give you the link.
The tone is being lowered, so...
You do watch porn, don't you, Guy? Guy, I'm not talking about really dirty porn, like felching and stuff like that. I'm just talking about nice porn. That's not lowering it. We all have sex. We all watch porn, let's just be honest. It's not lowering anything. Right, so, anyway, we have had a big demand. It seems that gaming's just not enough anymore on this podcast. People want to know about an issue going on in the world today. And that issue is fluoride. Lack of or too much. We have put ourselves as the foremost intellectuals on the subject. Guy Whitlock has got a PhD in fluoride. He's been studying for the past 10 years at Oxford University. Gareth is a professor in fluoride and developing toothpastes for Colgate for the last 5. And me, myself, have been an active member of the non-fluoride in our tap water brigade. We're actually got 4 members now, so we're actually getting rather on the backsides of the government to try and get them to get this bloody fluoride out of our water. But what we're going to be talking about mainly, which is hot news in the fluoride business, is there's a lady in London who is going to go over to Brazil to talk to them about their lack of fluoride in their children. What do you think about this, guy?
I think we should hear from Gareth first.
Gareth, did you know that there was such a problem with fluoride deficiency in the young people of Brazil?
I think anything but 100% fluoride body weight is too little fluoride.
100%. So we're talking like the body's 80% water or something. We need
just
100%.
replace that with fluoride, and we'll all live to be 1,000.
Yeah, put fluoride in our body water. That'd be absolutely amazing. Guy, what's your fluoride level currently? I'm not talking about today earlier when you tested. I'm talking about right now, because obviously it's lowered throughout the day.
Right now, about 7.
7?
Jesus, you're an embarrassment.
You are asking
Is
for
that
trouble.
good or bad?
That's bad, Guy.
Is that bad?
Yeah.
Why? What's wrong with 7? What's wrong with 7 fluorides?
Say something about how much is 7 fluorides. You don't measure it like that, Guy. Let me just say, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 fluorides. You're doing well, my friend. Guy, you told me that you've been studying it for 10 years. I think someone's telling you.
I was studying it in Brazil, and clearly they don't know very much about it, so...
Well, Brazil's a very different market when it comes to fluoride, isn't it? And obviously you've been told the wrong stuff. If they've been telling you that you've got 7 fluoride...
I hear there's quite the black market for fluoride in Brazil.
Is that a racist joke?
No, is that a racist joke?
It goes on again. You just...
How is that a racist joke?
But then you start going on about... Oh... Anyway, a Northeast expert on the use of fluoride to prevent dental decay is taking her research to Brazil. So she's taking all of her research, all them folders, to Brazil. That's going to be quite a challenge, isn't it? Dr. Vida Zahura, a reader in oral public health and nutrition, says the gap between the recommended daily intake of fluoride in children to prevent tooth decay and the level which could cause tooth mottling is too narrow, Guy. You know, we need to largen that gap. You know, in this day and age, should children be going out without the right amount of fluoride? No. Next month she'll be helping to run a 4-day workshop in Brazil to address priority research questions in fluoride the metabolism research. So if you want to know a little bit about fluoride, you know where to be in the next 4 days, Brazil. Okay. The finding of the recent study suggests that swallowing fluoridated toothpaste by children during toothbrushing, rather than living in a fluoridated area, might put children at risk of overexposure. Can you imagine that? the problem with fluoride toothpaste is the amount of toothpaste used. Gareth, I don't know about you, but when I was younger, I was never told how much toothpaste to actually use.
I mean, if it's got fluoride in it, then you can't use too much.
Tubes of toothpaste.
That's what I'm saying, but, even now as a human adult, I will squeeze the tip of the toothpaste onto the tip of the toothbrush. I mean the actual brush, not the actual tip handle, and drag it along the toothbrush and get an even distribution along the whole top of the brush.
Yeah, I think what is it? It's always like a pea-sized one you should use, but you want an even spread over the brush. Otherwise, it just otherwise it'll just blobs on a tooth.
Are you telling me you pee on your brush?
Oh, Gareth.
That's I
right.
genuinely tuned out for like a second, and I'm really confused.
I pee what you did there.
That's a good one. That's a good one, guy. If I put a pea-sized amount on my toothbrush...
Oh, okay, now it makes sense.
My girlfriend has got less teeth in her mouth than I have. So does that mean she needs to use a less toothpaste?
No, she needs to use more, because she has less teeth, because she didn't have enough fluoride.
That's interesting.
Obviously.
But then fluoride decreases the IQ.
Well... yeah, sometimes.
So she'll be stupid and toothless.
I have a question for you, Rob.
That would qualify her to go on Jeremy Kyle. That's where they feed all their guests. Now go ahead with the question, Gareth.
What's your favourite Fluoride song? Yeah.
That was.
I mean, he's got many hits, many top 10 hits. Which is your favourite?
Probably Elevator. Stuck on my elevator, she on the second floor. DJ, turn it up some more. Hey, shorty got them apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur.
See, I can feel my teeth getting better just from hearing that. It's just a proof of how effective it is.
Is this? Have we just found a medicine to cure all illnesses?
Yes, Fluoride.
That was
right,
there you go. Shops. There you go, people.
His teeth are beautiful, but he normally wears a grill, which is kind of a golden toothpiece that gets placed over the teeth. So maybe he's got fluoride coated inside.
Wow.
But anyway, that is the fluoride news of the week. Now, it's a bit controversial, but we like to be controversial on this show and really kind of go against the grain of what everyone else thinks when it comes to fluoride, and we kind of like to carve out our own niche, kind of fluoride free musketeers, if you will. We're not scared to put ourselves out there and disagree with everyone else. We are at the forefront of fluoride, and we will battle until we find out the actual solution.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well that has been it for this week's podcast. I'd like to thank Gareth Williams as usual.
You're welcome.
And Guy Whitlock, I know you zoned out a few times, but your attention span has been better than it has been in previous weeks, so I thank you for that.
That's quite all right.
You almost seem to concentrate the whole way through it this week.
I know. I'm getting there.
And happy Thursday to everyone. Hopefully, we've recorded this on Tuesday, so hopefully the fluoride industry wouldn't have moved on too much in 2 days to make what we've just talked about irrelevant and out of date, because otherwise we'll look a bit stupid, wouldn't we?
Also, look forward to next week's episode when we talk about the ending to Bioshock Infinite, which means Guy now has to finish it. Otherwise, we'll spoil it for him.
Or I could Google it.
No, you couldn't.
I don't think you'd understand it even if you read the ending, Guy.
Really?
It's quite
I think there's some things, probably including the ending of Bioshock Infinite, I'm just never going to understand.
No, I don't understand it, and I can hold my hands up. I'm literally holding... I know you can't see, but I'm holding my hands up right now. And I'll say it confused me a little bit, and people have tried to explain it to me, like The Matrix. You know, I didn't understand that, and it took my friend's father a few times to sit me down and just say to me, that is not the real world. Neo is in a pod filled with fluid, and every now and then he likes to go into the real world to fight people. And, you know, I'm sorry if you haven't watched The Matrix, but you really should have done by now. And that is it for this week. Thank you, everyone, and tune in next week for all your fluoride and gaming news. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye-bye.